From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. The House of Commons has ground to a halt, and the Conservatives say that's all thanks to Liberal corruption. House Speaker Greg Fergus ruled last week that the government did not fully comply with the House's order to provide documents related to hundreds of millions of federal dollars tapped for green technology projects. Now, no new business has been taking place since then, and Andrew Scheer, the Conservative House leader, says that's the way it's going to be until the desired documents get handed over. Representatives from Global Affairs Canada will be interviewed at today's Commission of Inquiry into Foreign Interference. The senior official's testimony comes as the federal inquiry is probing the methods and means of detecting and countering foreign meddling. The hearings, scheduled to continue through October 16th, are focusing on the practices of key agencies as well as the experiences of diaspora communities. A Calgary-based company has signed a deal to convert waste gas from oil well sites into electricity for Saskatchewan communities. Starting in late 2027, Steel Reef Infrastructure will provide Sask Power with approximately 100 megawatts of electricity per year. That's enough to power 100,000 homes annually. The power will be generated at 5 gas processing plants in Saskatchewan, using recovered gas that would otherwise be flared as waste. Now, flaring means burning off the excess natural gas that is a byproduct of oil production into the atmosphere. Over to the East Coast now, where the news for oyster lovers is not getting any better. A director with the Canadian Food Inspection Agency says a PEI oyster parasite has spread to the majority of bays and rivers around the island. The microscopic bug known as the MSX parasite is not dangerous to humans but can cause a generalized mortality spike, killing off the island's wild and farmed oysters at a quicker pace. Officials say that hasn't happened yet, but it could still happen in the months and years ahead. A 5-seat sushi counter located inside another restaurant is the latest Vancouver eatery to receive a Michelin star. Canadian Press reporter John Kennedy says the choice is deceptively delicious.
Sushi Masuda was the only new restaurant in the city to receive the distinction at an annual ceremony, the third such event since the culinary kingmaker started issuing its famously elusive stars on Canada's west coast. Michelin's anonymous inspector describes Sushi Masuda as a pointed reminder to not judge a book by its cover, continuing to say the plain, spare room is brought to life by the artfully simple, meticulous preparations of chef Yoji Masuda, whose time spent in the top counter in Tokyo is amply apparent.
With the addition, that means there are now 10 restaurants in Vancouver with 1 Michelin star, an honor given to eateries with high-quality cooking that are deemed worth a stop. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the New York Mets beat the Milwaukee Brewers 4-2 to win their National League wildcard series. With their latest thrilling comeback, the Mets advanced into the playoffs for the first time since winning the 2015 National League pennant. Over to the ice, Nick Robertson bumped his preseason goal total to 5 after a second consecutive 2-goal effort, leading the Toronto Maple Leafs to a 2-0 win over the Detroit Red Wings. The 23-year-old has scored in each of the Leafs' 3 straight wins. Kirk Cousins threw for a career-high 509 yards and 4 touchdowns. The last was a 45-yard scoring pass in overtime that gave the Atlanta Falcons an improbable 36-30 victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the New Orleans Pelicans say forward Trey Murphy III has been diagnosed with a right hamstring strain that'll sideline him for at least 3 weeks. That means he'll be unlikely to play in New Orleans' regular season opener against Chicago on October 23rd. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.